Yep. How's everybody doing this Wednesday morning? Screws the word morning. I'm even having to correct myself all the time with this language. Mourning is something you do when you mourn and go into sadness and mourning of a loved one. This isn't it. This is a grand rising. This is a greetings and salutations in when the sun rises and the rising of the grandness of it. All right, we even correct ourselves on the go here, because this is what it's about. You have the power, the tools to make changes in your life immediately when you start taking yourself up and flipping. You even escape timelines and you do it immediately. You're leaping. That's actually leaping and jumping. Crossing over. Come on now. Capabilities. We talked about that in the last video. How about that? Cape abilities. We talked about that. But you will see soon. It will drop soon, even before this does. But anyways, this morning, or this day, it's a grand rising day. I'm out on here on this walk, getting it, because you know what? We're going to have the hottest week of the summer so far for us here where I live at. High 90s and reaching 100 on Saturday. So we didn't get our first 100-degree day till September. Interesting, isn't it? How the summer works. But summer's not over until the 20th of September, officially, seasonally leaving the summer and going into fall. So the season starts to change. It falls from the high point and starts falling. Notice that we have words connecting to religion about the fall. It really comes from that. Uncovering all things here. That's what we do. And that's why we're so uncensored. We take the cape off, baby. We reveal that which is from that which is hidden. We are always gonna reveal the dogma so you know the truth of it. Dogma's a plan. We revert plans that don't deal with us fully. Expose them, take them down. That's the grand rising. Knowing self. Always what was needed to know self. A big thing that's needed is to know self. If you don't know yourself, think living a full 60, 70, 80 plus years and never having a twinkling of coming into knowing yourself. Always playing outside. What I mean by that? Always outside yourself. Taking the dogma which keeps you outside yourself so you don't really know. You're always just following what everybody else follows. I'm telling you, follow what everybody else follows in a path. Guess what you get? You're being led by other people. That's not you being led. Notice that. And I'm not talking about being led, L-E-A-D. I'm talking about being led, L-E-A-D. Notice these changes in these languages. We kind of shared self-teaching, how the English language was given to us and told us from an early age. You got to learn how to do spelling. Notice that word, key thing in is spelling is spells. English, equivocal language. All words have more than one meaning, two meaning at least, some even more. Why? Created to keep the powerful powerful and the submissive one submissive to the power. Talking the truth here. Revealing. What is it? At West Coast Uncensored we uncensor, we take that censorship and take the cape, the veil right off of it. Why? Because it's about empowering yourself. It's about empowering yourself. It's about you growing to your full potential. Not a potentate from a program that really wants to keep you under the thumb. Come on now, talking that real stuff. Being free. knowing your qualities, knowing, not gouging you up and gouging you up with words that have no meaning or have meanings that do the opposite of what is programmed or you think it is. That's what I see every day as we start unveiling, uncensoring the reality that's been given to us. We start seeing truth, which is ever forever expanding. There was a time I remember when I got on this walk, not literally this walk, but an example. A situation happened in 1991 where me and another close person to me had a visitation that forever changed us. And when I'm talking about this, leads me into the wotd, the word of the day. That word of the day is a huge word that sometimes I see people hear, but they have a hard time converting when they hear. They may even say, I hear what you're saying, but I can't. These words that handcuff you, always trying to find a conjunction of which ends up being an excuse. And it could be just this, that you're not finding and not experiencing, because I've seen it all the time, discern it all the time in people who hear what I'm saying and even go with the flow and say, it makes sense, I see it. But then they'll go run right back to the very thing that handcuffed them. Come on now. You know people did that. You may have did it yourself. But that's okay. Because like anything else, you have to learn this word. It has to be something that happens to you, an experience to you. It doesn't have to be the same experience for you as me that I had. But it needs to be done. When you walk into a room and you need light, you turn on a switch, right? You flip up a switch, usually turn it up. Down is off, up it's on. It's light. So what I'm going to talk about that I noticed a lot of people I ran into through my walk, through my experience, through changing, is in every change needs to include something that is important, and that's going to lead us to word of the day. And what's needed, absolutely, your frosting or your baking of a cake is the ingredient. Notice it's an ingredient, and that's activate. I see a lot of people with some knowledge, even here, twinkle a little bit, say, I hear what you're saying, I like what you're saying, but then we'll run backwards to the very thing that promoted youthfulism or no growth or keeping you in the same place that you abided in a long time, staying and not budging, not moving at all. Stay in those same mindsets, beliefs, that B-E-L-I-E, B-L-I. And that's activate. Why is activating so powerful? Because when you get activated, notice this word activate. It is so powerful when I start looking at it. And then when I started looking into the etymology of it and the definition of it, it actually is defined into this. It is a course of action that's even connected into an operation. Hear what I'm saying? An operation of change that would activate an energetic flow for you that is on. Hear what I'm saying? That's what it means. It even comes from a root of pi, 3.14, comes from the root of pi. So it's very mathematical too, because it's energy. It influences or takes you into an energy that you've not experienced before. So the change becomes you start living from another aspect of yourself, and now you're activated. You're activated. How many of you play video games? You have to activate or start the character up. You have to, in Mario Brothers, they eat mushrooms, they become bigger. That's like an activation. That is an activation in a game sense. When you become activated in this, in yourself, In spirit, you become activated. You start operating because it is an operation, and that operation takes place in an energetic field that you have. Now things have changed, and now you're operating from another source of the reality in another perspective, but it's also energetic. It's actually like an operation. That's what it says when you go into the foundation of what the word means, activate. You become activated. So when I see people, and I've noticed this for years, that will grasp it, and it seems like they're on their way, but then I talk to them a little later and meet with them, or just observe them, and I'm like, they backstepped. They stayed the same. It appeared they heard, but they weren't activated. They're not doing. They're not into the plug-in. They have not turned that light on. They have not flipped the switch. Has not turned on. Where them who have experienced activation are operating in an activated field. And I even noticed this as I've grown and expanded, that every time I expanded, I needed to activate again. Meaning the activation in the former is not the activation switch in the new, or the change that you're taking place. So with the change also needs to be an activation. And that's why, and notice activation is the beginning of the change or the flipping of the switch. But what happens when you're, hello, hi, in your present tense that you've already been activated, now you're you become activated. Now the action of the activation of the turning on of the energetic field, the operation that's taken place in this experience is now constantly moving, grooving, changing, and you learn how to maneuver in the activated field that you are now activated in your aura, your energetic field, and all that. Now you're operating in this. You're participating in this. It's a whole new wave of energy field that now you participate in, that you can recognize and know is not the same. You actually start knowing, I've been activated. And I see that a lot. I've seen it with many people that I've known, that they have did this, where they seem to grasp, but they never get activated. And what ends up happening is they slip back into that which they should have been activated from or released, and they go back and dance in that same dance. Still doing the third grade willy wop. Facts. I've seen it over and over with individuals where they grasp, they seem, but when it's all said and done, that activation never take place in them. The lights never really turned on. They stayed in the same lane, and there's no movement in the growth in that lane. Heavy stuff. Went a bit longer than I like to. I usually like to keep them between 7 to 9. I'm going to stop with this one, activate, and because we're at 13, but I went on a little bit before that. But anyways, you guys enjoy your day and think about that word activate and look at it for you. How do you turn on the switch for you? Where's the switch at? How do I switch when I want that next move and I find difficulty even though I see it? Sometimes people don't want the judgment of others. The price that will come back if you do this. You need to have and get that mind that others ain't going to lead you on the path that you need to go yourself. I've always looked at that. I ain't playing that game with anybody. I don't care where you're at, who you are personally, what your stature is, because that means actually nothing to me. Not that I don't respect people, but that which you say you are and want me to follow when I know that ain't the real deal Holyfield, because it's next level shit. That's right. Do what you need to do to have your growth. Help us make the changes necessary for you. Use the tools giving, which I will have some more tools that will go with the word of the day, or tools that we will use. How these tools are significant of you making adjustments. I started up, and that's what I did at the beginning of this video, and I'm going to close real quick, is I caught what I said and then used tools now to make changes, and you can do that too. Please like and subscribe. Share. It's going to be right above me, right too. All right, subscribe, subscribe, and share. Have a great day. Yep.